Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session in cause number 332-684. The case is styled the State of Texas versus George Earl Pickney. Mr. Pickney, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pickney, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Pickney, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Now, Mr. Pickney, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Mr. Matuska, how are you doing?
Morning.
And Mr. Matuska, do you waive a record in Mr. Pickney's case?
Do Your Honor.
State is represented here in this case by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
Doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
That's good. Now, Mr. Pickney, before we go any further, I notice your last name is Pickney. I had a secretary when I was in private practice. Name was Michelle Pickney. Are you related to her?
I think so. We all related.
Okay, well, I think Pickney was one of her married names. Okay, you say so you don't know her.
Well, I'm just not meeting some of them.
Okay, now, and for the record, you and I do not know each other, is that correct? Okay, and we never talked about your case or anything.
No, sir.
Okay, and just for the record, state, do you waive any conflict of interest that may exist? I said I had a secretary who last name was Pickney.
Yes, sir. The state waives any conflict of interest, Your Honor. We have no objection.
Defense, you
No
waive
objection.
you waive any conflict of interest as
Yes.
well? Okay, now, Mr. Pickney. Oops, I got the wrong stylus. And again, Mr. Pickney, how are you doing?
I'm blessed, Your Honor.
Oh, you can't be better than being blessed. Now, Mr. Pickney, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office.
Yes, sir.
In this information, it alleges that on or about September 14 of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of terroristic threat of a public servant. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
Now, this document, this information also alleges that, and it is further presented that during a period from October 1st through 29th, from October 1st of 2019 until June 28th of 2022, and information arising from the same set of facts was pending in a court of competent jurisdiction. And it says here's to wit 721-958 in the Criminal District Court of Jefferson County, style the State of Texas versus George Earl Pickney. Now, Mr. Pickney, the court looked at this document and found that the cause number 721-958 is incorrect. And I think the correct cause number is 19-33204. And so the court inserted a paragraph also in State's Exhibit number 1, which is a forfeiture of the limitations defense. So even if the information is wrong, you are waiving your statute of limitations defense. You're forfeiting. Is that correct? As part of this plea bargain.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I also have before me State's Exhibit number 1, where the on page 1, let me see. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, on page 2 of this same document, misdemeanor plea minus for State's Exhibit number 1, there's the paragraph that was inserted that reads, the paragraph is titled Forfeiture Limitations Defense, comes now defendant adjourned by counsel, and states that defendant forfeits his limitation defense as part of this plea agreement. Is that correct? And your initials, you have placed your initials next to this next to this paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Also, in this document on page 2, there are some lines that's scratched out on this document, and there's some initials next to that, those lines and the lines that scratched out basically saying that you was waiving your right to an attorney. You're not waiving your right to an attorney because you have an attorney. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And also further down on this document, there's a set of initials on a line stating that, and well, it's GEP, these are initials that's on the document. It's on the line next to the box that says check guilty. And did you place your initials on this document
Yes,
in
sir.
all these locations on
Yes.
page 2? Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And also there's a box that's checked that, well, do we have the discovery certification? All right, thank you. Now, there's a box that's checked stating that you do not request discovery, and that's incorrect because I have a discovery certification here. Now, Mr.
Your Honor, after Mr. Johnson and I discussed that, I was told by Mr. Pickens, he was provided the evidence that was in the felony side.
Right, it's the same evidence. This was a case that was refiled from the felony case.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So do I have your permission to
Yes, sir.
erase where it said that box that's checked? Okay, now on page 3 of this document, Mr. Pickney, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pickney, I also have a document here that's titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled
Yes, sir.
defendant?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need the prosecutor to sign this document. Now, Mr. Pickney,
Yes, sir.
prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I just went over with you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Pickney, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor, state officer, stage 1.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you've advised and counseled Mr. Pickney. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
And Mr. Pickney, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Pickney, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that plea bargain agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days. And we're asking that the defendant get stated for all time that he's entitled by law.
Okay, Mr. Pickney, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you've already spent in jail on this case.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Pickney, the court cost in this case is $337. Will you be able to pay the $337?
Payment plan.
I'm saying, would you be able to pay it today?
Not today, Your Honor.
Okay, now, Mr. Pickney,
On the first, I could.
okay, well, I mean, the case is being disposed of today. Now, Mr. Pickney, let me do this here. I'm looking at a document that you signed. Oh, he was automatic qualified. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at a document that you signed. You recognize this document called affidavit of indigence?
Yes, sir.
And it has your income information and it has your expenses. Okay. And based on that, your income information expenses, the court is gonna find that you are indigent. Now, is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the court is gonna find that you're indigent, and what that means is the court is going to waive your court costs of $337 because you're being found indigent, and this is pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. All right? So that just simply means you would not have to pay the $337. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Pickney, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is, as well as the court's finding you indigent and the waiver of your court costs is fair and just?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And do you accept it?
I accept it, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Pickney, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement, and the court will make the finding that you are indigent, and based on those findings, the court costs of $337 will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Pickney, do you need a signature?
I needed something.
Okay. You're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney and give the court clerk your prints and follow her directions. And once you finish following her directions, you need to follow the bailiff.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Matuska, this is your last case.
Mr. Honor.
Thank you. And you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Try it again.